Hey everyone, welcome to our March 22nd Diesel Nation team call. My name is Melissa Gallamy and I am your host this evening, and I'm so excited for tonight's call. You still have time to get your teams invited to this. I'm going to monitor this waiting room. I should have turned that off, but we will get everyone added in. So before I give introduction to these three amazing women who are going to be on tonight's hot seat, we have a couple things that I wanted to cover. So number one, tomorrow we have the reformulated salted caramel Shakeology launching, which is so exciting. I don't know about you guys, but I'm getting my hands on a couple boxes, couple for my house, and then one to do as like raffles and giveaways. It's always nice to promote going into spring and warmer weather. It's a different flavor. And I always love when they reformulate, because I remember when they redid tropical strawberry, it was totally different. And now it's one of my absolute favorites. So even if you didn't love salted caramel before, I urge you to give it a second shot, right? The company listens to our feedback. That's one of the things that I love about, corporate, is they're always innovating. They're listening to what we're doing, and they take into consideration what we're telling them. So please make sure. Second thing in correlation with that is I asked what you guys would like to hear for team call in Diesel Nation, and quite a few of you said, we want to know how to make more money and we want to know how to produce volume. That's how you do it. You get behind launches and you get your team to get behind launches. Okay, so it's critical that you are going out and you are getting just as excited about this as I am and Christina is and the rest of the leaders are, because the way that you approach it is essentially how your team is.
See how far it was.
So if everyone could mute, that would be amazing. If you haven't talked to your team, it's not too late. Please go out and do that tonight. There's some fun graphics. I'll post one in Diesel Nation after this call tonight. You can share. It is the 14 packs, so just keep in mind. So don't take your order off of Home Direct, because it will not allow you to get Success Club. But another thing is, make sure that people understand ordering one box can get them active. We have coaches within your downline who are not currently active right now to get them active. Give me a second, because I need to see who's not muted. We need
Melissa, can you quickly make me a co-host so I can take care of all this?
Perfect.
I will mute everybody. I will do all the things.
And you can take the waiting room off also on security. Yeah. I've made that mistake before.
Let's see. Did it give it to you, Chris? Oh, I muted you. Hold on. And now I can't find you.
I'm here. Unmute.
Okay.
Click the three dots and make me a co-host.
Mute all. It's just not letting me get to you.
Hover over her picture on the screen, her video, and then you're gonna see the three dots.
Oh, okay.
Click it and you make a co-host.
It's actually only going to let me make you host on my end for some reason. I don't know if it's my account settings, so I'm just going to give it to you.
Okay, I'll do the waiting room and all that stuff.
Perfect.
And you go.
Perfect. Okay, sorry guys, that was incredibly distracting, so thank you, Christina. But make sure that you're getting behind this, because it is so critical. And if you want to make more money, this is how you're going to do it, is getting excited about these launches. Second thing is, we have another launch coming that we need to get really freaking fired up. Sean T has a brand new program, and we already have our call lined out with him. That is this week. So we have another call coming the 25th. So Thursday at 7:45 Eastern Standard Time. So West Coast people, it is 4:45 our time. Please plan accordingly. Again, I know, especially for like when it's 4:45, it might be challenging because you're doing all the things. You don't have to be staring directly at the computer. You can take notes and make dinner, do things like that. Okay. You figure out a way to be innovative in this business, I promise you. But this is a way for you to hear directly from Sean about this program and get fired up, because we have VIP coach launch April, I think 18th, could be wrong on that. Double check the FAQ, but yes, get your teams excited. We are so freaking excited. So Christina asked some of the elite coaches, hey, who wants to host the next call? What do you want to do? And I was like, I want to host a call, but I don't want to talk. I want to hear from some of our up and coming rock stars in the business, because we have so many. I know that we have them throughout the organization, but we decided on, as a leadership team, on these 3 women because we have just seen their businesses really thriving and growing. We got to spend time with them at the retreat. And I don't know, when I was a new upcoming leader, it was important for me to have opportunities like this so that I could develop that skill and people knew what I had to offer so that I could help serve our team and the network and so on. And so I want to give these ladies a proper introduction. So I'm going to start off by introducing Lauren Coleman. She has been coaching for a year. She is a coach under Monica Lopez. She's currently in 2-star qualifying. You guys blow up the chat. That is so freaking exciting. She has a big goal this year of becoming a elite coach, and I have no doubt that she is going to make that happen. She is a wife. She is a mama. She's a soccer coach, corporate professional, and she's just incredible. I can't wait for you guys to hear what she has to offer. Next, I'm going to introduce you guys to Payton Hernandez, who is under Katrina Scott. She also is a 2-star diamond. She has been a coach since January of 2019. She's actually a premier coach this year. So blow up the chat because that's freaking exciting. She is a mama, a girl mama, and she's getting ready to have her new baby. Actually, when I asked her if she would be on this call, she was like, as long as I'm not in labor, I will be there. So super excited about that. She is in Southern California. She serves in the Navy, which is incredible. We appreciate your service. And she has been married to her husband, Nick. Their story is one of my absolute favorite. I'll let her give you a snippet of that before I share that. Her husband is going through law enforcement school, or is he through it? He's in training, I think.
It's like 1 month. Yeah.
Okay, he's in training. Awesome. And she's, like I said, ready to have this baby anytime. And then we also have Emily Young, who has been on our team for like 5 years now. She's incredible. She's just one of my favorite people. She also is a premier coach, and her and Payton are success partners. So success leaves clues. Connect the dots there. Get yourself a success partner if you don't have one. She also has a goal of becoming an elite coach. She is pregnant herself as well, and full-time in the corporate world. And I met Emily on a cruise ship like 3 or 4 years ago and just loved her from the moment I met her. Actually started stalking her on Instagram because her wardrobe is phenomenal. Like she can piece together like crazy things like leopard and stripes, and it just looks super fierce. So I'm really excited to hear from these ladies tonight. And we decided we wanted to keep this as a hot seat. And so I do have some questions for them. Ladies, are you ready? Okay. So before we go into the questions, I would love for the 3 of you just to take like 2 minutes and give like a high level overview of how you got started in this business, what the biggest impact has been, and yeah, that should be sufficient.
You want me to go first?
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me okay? What up, Diesel Nation? Okay, so I'm going to be quick. My name is Lauren Coleman. Monica Lopez is my coach. Again, I've been coaching for a year, wife, mom, corporate America, all the things. Corporate America currently allows me to pay my bills, but Beachbody is actually what fuels my passion. And I never thought that I would imagine a day where I would want this business to be my full-time job. And I am like at the point where I'm actually like really thinking about that as my end goal. But I stumbled upon Beachbody in 2016. I was, I think, not unlike many other people. I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. I had gained 20 pounds. Long story short, I have one son, Jackson, with an X, and I wanted another baby. And so I was not of the right mindset at the time. And I was just like, well, if I'm going to gain weight anyway, like what's the purpose in exercising? So like I ate all the things. I have 1 kid, so I never got pregnant, but I gained all of this weight, about 20 pounds. So my first program was Core to Force. And in 30 days, I lost 6 pounds and 10 and a half inches. And I was literally hooked at that point. Like I knew, which I didn't think prior to Beachbody, that I could get an effective workout from home. And I was proven very wrong. And then I was a coach before in another life, but I didn't think it was for me, limiting beliefs. And yeah, a year ago, I decided that I was going to take a chance. And I knew when I signed up on March 16th, 2020, that it was going to be the last time I signed up. So either I was going to make the business work or I was going to be a lifer. Okay, sorry, I might have gone over 2 minutes.
No, that's incredible. Thank you so much. Payton, you want to go next?
Yeah, I will. So hi everyone, I'm Payton. I actually found I'm really good friends with Katrina Scott. So when I joined the Navy about 5 years ago, I joined the Navy and then I had to wait for a year for my job because I'm an intelligence specialist and there's a wait list for that. So I had a really long gap of what I was gonna do. And I quit my full-time job as a project manager and decided I was going to be a massage therapist because I had my massage therapy certification from when I was 16 years old and I didn't have a single massage therapy client. And so Katrina was like, you need to do Beachbody, mostly just for Shakeology because I didn't know how I was going to eat. So for a year leading up, I drank Shakeology every single day. I was a terrible Beachbody coach. I sucked at it. I left for the Navy, had to cancel my subscription because obviously boot camp and being on a ship, you just can't get those things. But then flash forward to Melissa telling you my crazy, insane marriage story. I married the guy who slid into my DMs. My husband lived in Indiana. I lived in San Diego. He sent me an instant message that literally said, hey, we eventually started talking. He flew out to San Diego and after spending 36 hours together, we decided to get married. And the very next time I saw him, we got married. And then 6 months later, I went on deployment. And the big thing was we're gonna have this big extravagant wedding when we get back. And I did not want to look like an ogre walking down the aisle to stand next to my really athletic, cute, in shape husband because I have broad shoulders and I picked a dress that I never would have thought I would pick. And so I spent 6 months of a deployment working out in the gym, running, lifting with Marines, eliminating everything I possibly could, and nothing worked. I didn't lose a single pound. And so my friend offered it again, and she kept offering it, and I could not afford it because we had so much going on with our wedding planning, our honeymoon planning. We also decided to buy a piece of property sight unseen, and we had to come up with $15,000 in 60 days. So I literally could not afford it. And we were pulling into Thailand and my husband was like, okay, you've got $300 for 4 days, which can go really far in Thailand. And I was like, I'm going to sign up for Beachbody. And that $300 budget dropped down real fast after I signed up for Beachbody. But I knew after my first 20-minute workout in that sweaty Thailand gym that this was for me, and I haven't stopped ever since. So that is my little Beachbody story. That is how I came back. T20, Shanti, I love that program. And I've just been running ever since. And I've done everything that every coach has told me to do. Hit Success Club, hit 2-star, go for Elite. Like Elite's the next one. So if they tell you to do something, there's a reason why, and just listen. Sorry, I went way over 2 minutes.
I love it. It's incredible. It's one of my favorite stories. Okay, Em?
So inspirational. So hello, everyone. My name is Emily. I feel like a dinosaur compared to these two ladies I'm on the call with, but I think that that's what's so wonderful about Beachbody is all of our stories are different. We all kind of come into our own at our own time. As Melissa said, I signed up in 2015, October of 2015. And I was that coach that did not open my package until the second and third one came in. Amanda Sobel is my upline, and she was, checking in with me. At the time, I was commuting 5 hours round trip from South Jersey into Manhattan on a bus. I work in corporate America, so at the time I was, living in Jersey. Now I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina. But I desperately needed something to keep me active. I've always been a relatively active person, but working nonstop and then tending to my daughter, who at the time was 4 or 5 years old, It just wasn't conducive for me to go to the gym. I didn't have a pot to piss in. I was living paycheck to paycheck. From the outside looking in, I had this great glamorous corporate job. I had this handsome boyfriend who at the time was not what I wanted, but 5 years later, we are back together and expecting our first child together. So kind of crazy how life goes in full circle. But I did go all in when, Jeanette, who is Amanda's coach, said, tell yourself that you'll be here a year from now, right? A year from now. And I didn't even know what that meant, but I was like, all right, I'm tired of doing this yo-yo dieting. I'm tired of feeling like shit. I'm tired of being tired. So I said, okay, I will commit to being here a year from now. I'll join in on this, whatever challenge that she had set up in December. So in December of 2015 was when I fully committed to doing 21 Day Fix through the holidays, and I lost 9 pounds. And so I've always been a big believer of our programs because I was a product of it. My kind of shift happened where I really started to lean into the business last year. And all of that was a ripple effect of changing my belief system, of really leaning into this network of women and really kind of just stepping into my own. And so I would say if there's one thing that like you should be focusing on is not to compare yourself to the next person, to any of us up here, but to really just kind of embrace who you are and shine your own true magic, because there are people out there that will be attracted to it.
Love it. Okay, call's done. Just joking. So super excited to get into the questions. Let's just keep the same order unless one of you feels like you can't answer it. Totally cool. So Lauren, I'm going to start with you and just say, you kind of already touched on it, but what was your biggest limiting belief in getting started in the business? I think that a lot of coaches, tell themselves that they could never do this because they'll come in and they'll see the success that Monica or Christina or Katrina or myself or Maddie have had, and they compare our chapter 50 to their day one. Can you talk?
I think that's exactly the problem. I was a coach before, and so I would see everyone on Instagram with every coach with their "why not you, why not me" story. And I'm like, well, it's easy for you to say that because you're like a 6-figure earning, 7-figure earning coach. So so my limiting belief is that I never thought that I could find success in this business until I started to find success in this business. And what I'm going to say is, you can't compare your day one, year one to someone else's year 7 or year 10. So what has worked for me is to set small, attainable goals so that you don't feel like you're comparing yourself to people that have been in the business for a long period of time. Because to Emily's point, it doesn't matter how long you've been in this business. If you make a decision and you put your head down, you can find success. But I find that people give up way too easily. When I signed up as a coach, I knew that I was going to sign up for a minimum of 5 years, because this is a business. Businesses don't take off overnight, and this is not a get rich quick scheme. It's a business. So you can't put in a month's worth of work or even a year's worth of work and say, well, this is not working. I'm going to challenge you to ask yourself, are you really doing the work?
Okay.
So I really have been thinking about this question all day long because when I came back, I came back with a vengeance. When I first signed up, I didn't really try to coach. I signed up my mom, and I think I signed up her best friend, and they drank the shakes with me a couple of times, but I was so focused, and I was much younger and immature and not in a good crowd of people. So I didn't really give coaching a chance. But my husband really wanted to open a business, and I had worked for several couples who all owned businesses. And I'm like, ooh, I don't want to be that couple. I don't want overhead. I don't want to be fighting over invoices. And you didn't send that email and you didn't send that. Ooh, that just didn't sound good to me. And so when Beachbody came up, I'm like, you want to run a business with me? Let's make this our business. And we just ran with it. There was no limiting beliefs. We said, we're giving it a year and we're going to make $5,000. I don't know why we decided on $5,000, but we said we're going to make $5,000, and we made $5,183 and 18 cents in our year. And it was like, okay, we're going to triple it. And then we did that again the second year. And so now our goal is to triple it again this third year. So I didn't really have limiting beliefs coming into the business because it was like, we were doing it together. We said we were doing it, so we were going to do it. And that's the type of person I am. I look at this in a different way. I strategize and I try to figure it out. Now that I've been around the block a couple of times, I'm like, this is the start of year 3. My biggest limiting belief now is that I'm going to run out of people. And I think that's something that we all struggle with. But they say the average person knows 1,000 people. I know 1,000 people. My husband knows 1,000 people. My mom knows 1,000 people. And the same rules apply to you guys. And so I take my family with me. Anytime I'm struggling, I pick up the phone and I call my mom and I say, who needs this? Anytime she doesn't have an idea, I call my dad. And so I continue to kind of grow off of a warm market, but I continue to take people with me. So when I do have those limiting beliefs, I'm able to have my family and my biggest supporters remind me that I'm a really good coach and I've been successful and I can keep going. And I think that's where a lot of coaches or new coaches drop the ball, is that they don't take people with them. They don't preach their goals out loud. They don't share it with their family because they're so afraid to be judged. Don't. Tell them where you're going and then ask them for help.
And for me, I would say, when I think about when I first started the business as a coach, I didn't want to leave corporate. And that seemed to be kind of the overarching theme of when you sign up as a coach, your goal should be to want to be a full-time coach. And for me at the time, even though I was drowning in debt, living paycheck to paycheck, traveling and commuting 5 hours round trip, I do enjoy the getting dressed in corporate attire and the big city life. And so for me, leaving corporate, it didn't fit. It didn't seem right. So I never really jumped into the business opportunity until I was like, enough of corporate, right? Something always shifts, something always happens. There's the lack of recognition. There's the lack of just a simple thank you. There is no fulfillment. It is stressful. And I got to the point where I was like, all right, enough is enough. But then once I did make that shift, prior to it, it's comfortable being in corporate, right? You make good money, you have the security, you have the benefits, everything to kind of keep it like a crutch. So for me, it was stepping up and owning my own BS about this business and taking ownership of the fact that I wasn't taking ownership of my business. And so for me, it really kind of, my limiting belief was that I wasn't going to be a good leader, that I couldn't lead because I was a coach for 5 years and still a diamond. So to me, I'm like, how can I make 6 figures as a diamond? It's not going to happen. So I can't leave corporate. So this isn't for me, right? But what I started to do last year and towards the tail end of 2019, really, right after the first Diesel Nation Leadership Retreat, one was my belief system within myself for the business started to shift. And then I started to become the leader that I wanted to attract. And what did that look like? That means setting up my own team page. That means hosting my own sneak peeks. That means hosting my own training calls, like all of the things that we see leaders do, that we look up to, that we aspire to be like. I knew that I needed to own that and step into that and do it myself in order to release that vibration that I wanted to attract leaders on my team. And once the shift happened last year, that's kind of how it's progressing. So that was my limiting belief.
Good. Okay. So next, I kind of want to shift into recruiting. People always want to know the secret sauce. People want to know what you're doing. And so my question for you is, what is your top tip for attracting business builders? Right? That's along the lines of recruitment. Lauren?
Oh, that is like the $1 million question. And I don't know that I have like the gold nugget that people are looking for. But I mean, I don't know if you really know like that. I mean, sometimes you get a feeling like that person can do big things in this business, but you never know until they're in and they start working. So, I mean, and sometimes you'll bring people in that you thought were just here to, you know, get healthy, and they end up like running with the business. So I honestly don't know, but I know that my first leader on my team, I know I've known her for 20 years. So like I know her personality. Hello, Gina. I know you're out there somewhere. But I just knew that she could do big things with this business. So I approached her with the opportunity, and she literally started and hit the ground running. But I also think that going back to setting small goals, I think that every time there is a diamond push group, people need to get their people in those diamond push groups. I became a diamond in Next Level Legends. Gina became a diamond in 2.0. My second diamond, she was in the, what were they calling it? Diesel Diamond Dash. So again, if you, like when you come into this business, because I know when I did, the thought of diamond seemed very unattainable and very difficult. But if you break it down into steps, so when you come in, just do emerald, you know, emerald is easy. And then from there, you're going to slowly start to build. But the second an opportunity comes up for a push group, you only need like 4 coaches to get into the group. And from there, I have seen so many people level up in 4 weeks because of the momentum and because they've made a decision. And I mean, honestly, a lot of this business, I have realized it's very simple, but it all starts with deciding. And I'm probably going to say decision a lot because, I mean, honestly, to me, that's how it starts. I rambled. I don't know if that made sense. Does that make sense?
Yes. Payton or Emily?
I do agree with Lauren that the people that you think are going to be like such great business builders typically are not the great ones. They like come in and then they stop, and you're just like, oh, that kind of hurts a little bit. That stings. And it's the ones who you wouldn't even expect that take off running and they do amazing things. So with this one, you guys, I say manage your expectations. It's really hard when you put an expectation on a coach. So if you're like, I just recruited my rockstar diamond coach and she's going to take me all the way to the top and we're going to build this business together, and you have all these expectations on this one person, you're just kind of setting yourself up for failure, and it'll kind of like knock you off your feet for a second. So when it comes to coaching and growing your coaches, have zero expectations and know that you can't drag them. They have to want it themselves. My best business builders come from my challenge groups. If you guys haven't read the Keith Callahan book, I think it's Build to Last or Built to Last. I re-listen to that on Audible probably once a month. I absolutely love that. Like, love it. I am looking for loyal people. I want a business that is going to be lasting. I don't want a business that I'm always going to have to be rebuilding, which that is a part of the process, but I want people to come and stay with me for years and trust the process and know that it works. And so I really pour into my challengers, and I get my best coaches from my challenge groups.
And I would say, I mean, I completely agree with both women. The only other thing that I would kind of add is that who got you here, where you are right now, is not going to get you to the next level. People are going to quit. People are going to fall out. The people that, you know, were your diamonds that you loved and that you have grown this business with might not be here in 5 years. And so, you know, managing your expectations along with theirs, yes. And then also along the same lines of being the leader that you want to attract. I am a firm believer in law of attraction and energy. And if you are not doing the tasks yourself, how are you going to recruit someone to do it? If you're not, it just isn't going to work. This is a business built on trust. So if people don't trust you, they're not going to want to do it themselves, unless, you know, you get a unicorn and she comes in and is a rock star, right? Which we all want. But at the same time, you want to be that same person too. You want to be that leader that is shining, that is, you know, having the big shoes to fill for your coaches to come in and flourish and thrive. And so that's what I would say as far as like, I think attracting, I like that word, attracting business builders versus finding them. It's really hard to find people if you are not first demonstrating those qualities yourself.
All the freaking truth bombs on this call, you guys. I hope you are taking notes. So good. Okay, so let's dive into our next question. How often are you guys doing sneak peeks, and are you relying on, say, our Diesel Nation one or something that's hosted by your personal upline? Are you co-leading them? Who are you leading them with? Tell us all the things.
Okay, I will be the first one to say I need to get a hand slap. I should be running my own sneak peeks, and I have not. And I will say, Gina Johnson tells me all the time, we need to do sneak peeks. We need to do sneak peeks. And I'm like, okay. And we haven't. So I have always used Diesel Nation's sneak peeks or Diesel Core's sneak peeks, but coming soon. Like I've written it down, and I knew this was going to come up, and I knew that when I said this in front of all of you, it would force me to actually do it. So I declare that we will do a sneak peek on our team, but I have not to date.
So and Payton, I'm just going to throw you out there. I know Payton did her first one last week. So Payton and I, as you mentioned, we're our success partners, and I encouraged her. I was like, yes, let me know how it goes. I'm so excited for you. I think that sneak peeks, hosting them yourself, it's scary. Yes, you will get better as you do more. Last year, I did one a month consistently, one a month on vacation in New York, in the Hamptons, no matter where I was. If I said to my audience that I was doing a sneak peek, I did a sneak peek. And then I got my team involved. And this year so far, I've been hosting them every other week, just to try something different. I've shortened them from an hour to about 30 minutes, seems to be the sweet spot. If I have other leaders on the team speak on the sneak peek, it usually lasts about 40 to 45 minutes. And so far it's been great.
So as Emily said, I hosted my first one last week. I had 14 people. At one point I had 16 people. A lot of them were my challengers. Because they're constantly following me, and I'm like, you want to be on this call, you want to be on this call, you want to be on this call. When you're hosting a sneak peek, you guys, you got to create FOMO. Like create all the FOMO, always be in your stories talking about it. But previously I was doing one-on-ones with people. I'm much better in a one-on-one setting. I used to sell artwork on cruise ships. So I just have that one-on-one ability with people. So I used to take the time and do that. And I would sign up working coaches. They just then wouldn't take any action, and they'd eventually quit and fall off. And then there's that expectation management that I had talked about that just crushes you for a little bit. So sneak peeks are definitely going to be a thing. I got it from the retreat in Orlando. I was really nervous about saying like, yes, I'm going to host a sneak peek once a week, because right now I'm 37 weeks pregnant and I could have a baby any day. So I also want to give myself a maternity leave, because I did not do that with my daughter, James. She's 1. And I literally, thank God for Facebook. Sometimes you really love those Facebook memories. Sometimes you really hate them. But I realized that with James, I was working out 2 weeks after I had her. I was doing yoga. I was doing arms. Like I loved the business so much that I didn't really give myself a break. And that's not a bad problem to have. I enjoyed it, but this time I want to give myself a break. So for my sneak peeks, for the first 3, I'm hosting them with my personally sponsored coaches. And then I have them scheduled to do their own. And I've said, like, I'll just send people your way. Because I want them to get confident in speaking about the business and hosting their own, so then they can run with it.
Yes.
So that's what I'm personally doing.
I think that's such an important piece, is making sure that we're transferring those skills to help people understand that they are capable of doing it, because this is how this business is built. I do, we do, you do, right? And so empowering them to do those things. So a question came up in the comment section, so I want to address it. Emily and Payton, so someone's asking, what's a success partner? And my question on that, what's the value that the two of you have seen this year becoming success partners?
Well, I did not have a success partner prior to Payton, really. I know that I dropped in our Diesel Nation chat right after the leadership retreat in 2019. That was kind of the one thing that you always hear about, but I never really did, along with a lot of the other, attributes of a business builder. But I would say a success partner is someone who holds you accountable. It could be someone on your team. It might not be. I suggest going outside of your personally sponsored team. but still maybe someone within Diesel Nation. And it's someone who lifts you, inspires you, motivates you. You're kind of in the same wavelength when it comes to your goals and what you're looking to achieve out of this business. If you are, reaching to be 15 star and your success partner is wanting to be diamond, it's not going to align as far as, mindset and masterminding. I would say with Payton and I in the beginning, and Payton, you can certainly chime in, feel free to unmute yourself, but a lot of it was kind of just knowledge sharing. What's working for you? What's working for you? This is happening on my team. Are you seeing this on your team? How would you handle this? How would you cope with that? And sometimes at the end of a stressful day, it's just nice to speak to someone who isn't in your direct personally sponsored team. So Payton, I don't know what else you want to add.
No, definitely. The last one we were on, we were both like crying, hungry, because we're both super pregnant. We both just wanted to scream F you. Like, it was a good time. But that's what a Success Club partner is. Like Emily shared with me her coach sneak peek. I shared with her my new Getting Started Right guide, because I've had 2 people hit diamond in like 30 days off of it. And one of them wasn't even my personally sponsored coach. She was a coach I worked with for Team Cup. And so I shared that with her. So it's just knowledge sharing, bouncing ideas off of each other. I am super emotional this pregnancy. That was not an issue for me last pregnancy. So Emily calms me down. Like today, I was like, please remind me, please remind me what I'm doing and why I'm doing this. But like last year when we first connected, my goal was I really just wanted to be a 2-star premier coach, because I knew that I was going to have a daughter, and I knew my husband was going to be transitioning into the police academy, and essentially I was going to be a single mom while building a Beachbody business and still being active duty Navy, which is something I really love. And so I didn't want to overwhelm myself. I didn't want to put a lot of stress on myself. And Emily was like, no, we're going for elite. I'm like, okay, we're going for elite. This is going to be fun. And at one point I did have 3 diamonds, but I ended at 2 stars. So a Success Club partner should push you and encourage you to go bigger and better, because at the end of the day, we both hit premier together. Even though we were gunning for elite, like we still hit that goal. So make sure that it's like a good balance. You guys can work well together.
And I would say before we schedule our call to hop on, we're like, all right, what are our goals? What do we want to be at as far as Success Club, and where do we want our team before we get on our call with each other? So it kind of helps push us a little bit more before we meet.
I love that. Lauren says she has one within the organization and one without, which I think is great as well. And Monica said she doesn't have one right now at all. I've worked with many people over the past 7 years. You kind of just figure out you're going to work well with. And there's not really anything wrong with figuring out and saying, hey, this isn't really serving my business right now, and breaking away, but you've built an amazing friendship and you get to continue to grow together. So I want to just let you guys know, if you find one and you 6 months down the road find it's not for you, totally cool too. And you might find someone eventually down the road. Don't feel like you have to have one, but I think when it works well, it's beautiful. I remember, when Christina was working so close with Liz Hartkey, and now she does like these partnerships with Moira and Brittany, all of them, and they partner together on certain things. So, if that's something that you want, go out and seek that, just like Emily was saying, and put that out there of what you're looking for and make sure it's going to serve you. Okay. So, next question is, you ladies had an incredible 2020 when the world shut down. You went to work. Tell me what your biggest shift was that you feel like would help the people on this team or listening later moving forward.
That is an easy question to answer for me. May 13th, 2020. That's the day everything changed for me. I intentionally signed up, the beginning of quarantine, because I knew that we were going to be home. But again, I had no sense of urgency. Like when I signed up to be a Beachbody coach, it wasn't immediately for income. Like I have a great corporate job, so money wasn't like my driving force. So when Monica was pushing for Superstar, her and Christina had a call with us on May 13th, 2020, got a bunch of girls together, and Monica was like, listen, this is my vision. This is what I want. This is the date. So the call was May 13th. I think the deadline was like July 12th. And I was cracking up because I had hit Emerald like the month before, I had hit Emerald the month before. And I'm like, why do these chicks have me on this call talking about Diamond? Like Diamond is hard. Like I can't do Diamond. And by July, I thought they were crazy. But what do when someone, I'm also kind of competitive. So when someone like challenges me, well, what do? You freaking step up. So I decided like, what the hell? Like, why not? I'm going to try and I'm going to see what happens. So if it was just for me, I don't think there would have been a sense of urgency. But for me, when my goal is tied to someone else's, and if I don't hit the goal, it could adversely affect someone else. Oh, forget it. Like I am all in. So the date came, I hit Diamond, and like that was it. So once I got there, I was like, oh crap, I can do this. So that call, and so all of that to say, when you're a leader, and I am trying to do that now with my team, I still have a long way to go in terms of leadership, but when you share your vision with your team and they know what the goal is and how they fit into that goal, like it gave me like a purpose, it gave me a direction, I had a roadmap, and like every week, Christina or whomever it was at the time was like, drop your roadmap. So it's like every week someone was waiting for me to like show up with my results. So that is what changed everything for me.
I think for me, I had a baby and I was on maternity leave. And I had more time on my hands. No, really, I think in 2020, the shift for me is that I just went through a huge season of growth. I really used to lack confidence in myself. And I used to live a life that I thought everyone else wanted me to live. And Beachbody really gave me the freedom to just live my own life. And like I said, I married my husband after 36 hours, and that was a huge breakthrough for me. And then I actually completed a program and I actually got results. And it was the 1-year anniversary of my business, and I had a baby, and I was in the best shape of my life. And I just felt good and I felt happy, and I shared that. And I continued to take people with me, and I continued to share that. I'm also very much like Lauren when she was like, if I know that I'm trying to help someone get to a goal, I'm super attached to that. I'm a very loyal person. I'm a team player. I was raised by a football coach. So Katrina Scott being my best friend, she's like, we're getting to elite again. We're getting to elite again. I'm like, whatever I can do to make that happen for you, I will make it happen. I will do whatever it takes. Because that's the type of person I am. Like if I know I'm going to let someone down, I can't do it. I have such a guilty conscience. I have to do it. So knowing that you're a part of a team and that you're all working together and it all ties in and it's all a cycle is a huge part of this, you guys. Also, don't fly under the radar. If you fly under the radar at anything in life, you're not going to learn and you're not going to excel. Think about it. When you're in school, a lot of people sit in the back of the class and they're afraid to ask that question. The kid who asks the question is normally the smartest kid in the class and gets all the teacher's attention. You make fun of them for being the teacher's pet. And then as you get older, you see that trend at work. That one coworker who never shuts up, who never stops asking questions, never stops asking if they could do something, works their way to the top. But meanwhile, you're flying under the radar thinking like, well, they're lucky, when's it my turn? So stop flying under the radar and just go for it. Show people who you are. Tell your story. Don't be afraid. You don't have to be super vulnerable and like cry every day or tell your worst, darkest fears, but like share your good, share the bad, share the ugly. Make it fun. Have fun with it because this is building freedom and this is fun.
I love it. And I would say, just to kind of play off of that, all of it is building blocks, right? Every little thing that you're sharing, that you're doing, it's building. It's that time and consistency that you continually hear. So for me, the big shift that happened, my mindset, 150%, becoming radically aware of my thoughts and how that was fueling my emotions, which then in turn reflected my action or lack thereof, which reflected my results. So kind of understanding all of that really shifted my business. And then from a corporate business perspective, my day job, I didn't get the promotion that I definitely should have, but more work, more money, but not the promotion. And as an Enneagram 3, I thrive on recognition, promotion, stuff like that. So February of 2020, right before the pandemic hit, is when we get our year-end reviews. I got the best possible review, but no promotion. So I was like, that's it. I'm done. I want to give this business my all. So I started to make the shifts. I started to pour into my own mindset, my own belief system. I started to control the controllables. So what did that mean? That means becoming I actually started listening to more Kusaba more, and I ordered her book, her Rise Up, and I did that morning routine planner every single day starting in March. I wrote out my vision. I read it every single day. I was doing my workout. I was writing my gratitudes. I was writing my book of wins every single day, something different. And then I was expressing that to my team. I was hosting my own team calls that I had never done in the 5 years prior. So for me, it really, the mindset shift is what happened. And I don't really know how else to say it other than personal development and making sure that you are stepping into your own power and that you are capable. Like you all hear us, like, we didn't think it was for us, or we didn't think that we could do this, but yet you do it, and then you realize that you can, and you didn't die, and then you get better at it, and then you keep going, and then you grow a little bit more, and then you have to tackle the next goal. So I got really intentional with my social media and how I was posting, how I was reaching out to people. I started to get very clear on my vision, what I wanted to do, where I wanted to go, who I wanted next to me. I was setting boundaries with my team. I was tired of dragging people. So I work with the people who are on the field playing with me, and not those who are just wanting to take my time and my energy. Everyone has a seat, but at the same time, I want those, like Payton said, the loyal ones who are going to be here to run this business, who are headstrong and ready to level up. So that was kind of like my shift, and has continued to be.
I love it. You guys are.
Can I piggyback on that really quickly? Mindset is everything. Personal development is everything. It is one of our vital behaviors for a reason. So if you are working this business, and I don't know what you do in your homes, but look internally and ask yourself, are you doing personal development, and are you doing it every day? Because if you're not really working this business. And our business can be very hard, but at the core of what we do, it's very simple. We invite, we sign up, we follow up. But you also have to do your personal development, because I'm the type of person where, like, I don't like negativity. I don't like excuses. I don't know. I just have very little patience. So if you're not solution oriented, or you're not coming to the table with solutions, like I don't have time. Okay, that was it. Sorry.
Yeah.
I would add on to that. It's almost like I was half in, half out with the business. I was half in doing the thing. I was doing the workouts every single day. I was drinking my shake every day, but I wasn't doing the whole thing. This business only works. They're vital behaviors because you need to do them all. Otherwise, you don't have a heartbeat. They're vital, right? So personal development is part of that. So when you really lean into the mindset, and not just reading, but write out your gratitudes, write out your book of wins, celebrate your team, celebrate the partner next to you, your success partner, the women on this call, everything, all of that plays into your success, because as my saying goes, a candle loses nothing by lighting another candle. So keep lighting and shining everybody around you.
I will add one final thing on the personal development note. Lauren, I feel like I should have met you at retreat. We make great friends. I feel like you and I are kind of.
And we have a lot in common. I was a licensed massage therapist too.
Yeah. I'm like, damn, why did I meet her? But you guys, if there's a will, there's a way, and there is time for literally everything in your day. So I will say my personal development hasn't been as strong as it needs to be. I have a teething toddler. My husband's gone all the time. I'm so tired. It's so hard for me to get out of bed some mornings, but I'm also growing a human. So how I sneak in my personal development is listening to podcasts when I'm doing the dishes, when I'm cooking dinner, when I'm in the shower. Like, we all do these tiny little things, and I can listen to an audiobook. Anytime you think I'm going to turn on music, stop that. Don't turn on music, delete Spotify from your phone, and just go to Audible or hit a podcast. Like, that is how you can sneak in personal development. It is that easy. So you're telling yourself like, oh, I don't have time to wake up at 4:30 in the morning to journal and plan out all my entire day. Okay, you might not have time for that every day. Give yourself grace, make it a priority, and try to do at least 5 times a week. But you always have time to develop your mindset and to listen to something, because I can guarantee you all drive somewhere during the day. You all get in your car at least once, you could listen to a podcast. So if you're really struggling getting in the personal development, switch the little daily habits and just sneak it in like that.
100%. And can I tell you, I love these calls because you see connections with Payton and Lauren, and people are going to start connecting the dots. Monica and I actually spoke on a call. I was like a brand new diamond coach. She was like, I don't know, 2 or 3 star. And we both had babies, and Jamie Pfeiffer too. And it was like a game changer in my business. Like, they were like these big, huge coaches, and I was this baby coach who just had a baby. And I remember admitting out loud that for the first time ever, I don't even know how it came out of my mouth, but I was like, I'm going to come home to my kids because of this business. So yes, I'm crying baby in the car, baseball field, like, just like Payton was saying, you can figure out those small pockets in the day because we've all done it, right? Just because someone else has done it before you doesn't mean you aren't capable of it. We're coming into the end of this call, ladies, which I could just talk to you all freaking night, but I want to be respectful of everyone's time. And I know there's a bunch of people who didn't get on and are going to want the recording for this, but if you could offer your top 3 recommendations for personal development, what would they be?
Only 3? Oh God. Okay. The Miracle Morning, because whenever I fall off my morning routine, usually in the summer, because I don't have to like get Jackson up for school, I read that book. I try to read it once a year, and it gets me right back on track. So oh God, this is a lot of pressure. 5-second rule is another good one. And How to Win Friends and Influence People, Dale Carnegie.
I would say, I already said Built to Last earlier, so I would say that one again. That is fantastic. The Compound Effect and How to Be a Person of Influence by John Maxwell. And he like co-writes it with someone else.
And I would say You Are a Badass. It's pretty much a standard basic amazingness. I don't want to say it's like FUCK, Leadership. That's a good book for stepping into your own leadership. And then along with the other books that the other lady said, I would also throw in either like some type of spiritual book. So maybe The Universe Has Your Back or Super Attractor. Those 2 both are great for mindset or the power of now, living in the now.
Love it. And you guys take a picture because Christina graciously typed everything in there. You Are a Badass was my personal development book. I read 3 times when I first got started, like on the way to work, on the way home, if we had a doctor's appointment, like it was always on, and it made me get belief. So if you've never read it, I recommend it too. Okay, last question, rapid fire. If you were a new coach getting started in this business, what advice would you have for them?
You have to take ownership of your business. I understand your upline is always going to be there for you. We are part of, I think, one of the best teams in the network, but you cannot use your upline as a crutch. If you have a question that you can look up the answer. People don't have time to answer questions that you can easily get out of your back office. So I would say take ownership. And if something is not working, like, don't look to blame. Because I tell my kid all the time, like, whenever something happens, he's like, well, no, turn that finger around and look and see what you could be doing different.
I would say think less and do more.
I would say fire your upline. You want to learn this business as soon as you freaking can. So almost be terrified to ask your upline a question. Look in the FAQs, check the back office. You guys, I started my business on deployment on an LHD with no Wi-Fi, really shitty internet. Like, I couldn't even get the coach back office to load. I'd have to have my husband send me things. So like, learn this business, take the time to learn it, and know that there are people that can help you, but you want to find the answer yourself. Like Google, you can Google everything. So really, if you have a question, just put it into Google and try to find the answer yourself.
We learn by doing.
Yes, yes, yes. You guys are incredible. And I knew you were going to blow this call out of the water. I appreciate the time that you invested this evening. Guys, I'll get this recording up as soon as possible. Don't forget, we have salted caramel tomorrow. Share that with your teams. Don't forget the call on Thursday. And if you have any additional questions, you can drop them in the section and we will try to filter through them. Have an amazing evening, guys. Bye-bye.